of these ones.
Then what effects does that have to the overall performance of economy or the betterment of the lives of Kenyans? Because at the end of the day, this budget is supposed to serve Mwananchi. But if we are seeing we have departments that are overspending, there is no accountability on the same, while we look at other critical services, healthcare, education, we're talking about 49%, not even half of that has been expended to this. What does that mean to the overall performance of Mwananchi's life and quality of it?
And I'm going to actually pick from the guarantee you were asking. Already from what she's saying, and I'll pick from her mind, we have sector reports that ideally tell you even what is supposed to be allocated to a sector, for example. And let's just pick the education bit, for example. Even with that 780 billion, we are still 42% short of what is required. Yes. So by the fact that we are even budgeting and planning, we are already starting from a budget shortfall, because we already have a shortfall where the sector report says you require this, but what is allocated falls short of what is required. So before we even start, we are already operating from a budget shortfall. And then to make it worse, we have the debt issue. For me, that is a very problematic issue, because then that, if you look at what we want to pay in debt, is already double or 3 times what should have gone to the education. So already we have the budget shortfall already. We have some data gaps, like I've already told you what is in the economic survey and what is being planned for. So all those are not guaranteed safeguards for young people, I mean for Kenyans and even young people at large. And now looking at the economic outlook of it, is that there's also, I know we are talking of the budget and the expenditure side, but we also have to look at how are we raising this money to cater for the expenditure. And that brings me to your question as to how the outlook of the economy is to the citizens of Kenya. The inflation is also going high. And I know we are talking of the budget of being 4.8, but I want to bring a very controversial statement that perhaps maybe we might be operating with a 2 point something. Because in that 4.8 trillion budget, there's half of it untouched that is supposed to go to debt servicing. So when you start with that, it's already disappropriating, I mean, it is disadvantaging Kenyans, because then what is left to the education? What is left to the healthcare? What is left to manufacturing and production? We are a country that is economically moving through services. So picking up from how that looks, right now as a person, now the public debt issue, we are crowding out private sector, we are crowding out small enterprises, businesses, people who should be moving the economy. But then now when we have a situation where now we are competing as citizens with the government to be able to access credit to fund our lives, to fund our businesses, then you already have an outlook of how that looks. People will not be able to afford credit for their businesses, hence loss of business opportunities. There's not going to be a fair business environment. When you speak to the issue of employment, every year we keep giving out students from graduation. And I'm bringing still the aspect of budgeting, for example, with the higher education and the TVET aspect. Last year, for example, we had 993,000 learners coming from the KCSE examination period. But what are we planning? We are planning for 600 and something thousand. So already government is telling us that by design, we don't want to care about this number of people coming out from school. So where does that lead them to? These are people who are supposed to probably be looking for employment. So therein lies the crisis of unemployment. And then when you look at the taxation bit, we want to even infiltrate the little gig economy side, that these people who may not be able to cover the formal employment can be able to access, but we are following that part where they are getting money. So it's really a crisis. We're in a fiscal crisis.